The best things in life cost $60 and then $20 2 years later. The worst things in life are encased in that weirdly thick plastic not even scissors can cut through for some reason. This is episode 3 of this. Last time we were with Kara and Alice, they had just shot and killed a man. Anyway, after falling asleep on our getaway bus, this nice loser tells us it's time to make like a drum and beat it. It's the end of the line, and Kara is in disbelief.
Can we just stay for a little while?
I don't get what she finds so unbelievable. It's the middle of the night and there's no one else on the bus. What isn't she able to understand? What do you mean I can't just live on the bus? So after trying to convince this dead-end wagey that this 9-year-old is gonna freeze to death, we stubbornly walk out into the cold, grim reality of nature, which just so happens to be Detroit, Michigan. Kara says we need to hurry, but like, what are we hurrying to? Hurry to what? What's the end game here? Are we buying a house or something? So there's a few places we can check out in this little intersection here. We can't really go far, so why not ask for help? Kara walks up to these androids parked at some station and asks for help, and he kind of just slowly pans over to Kara and then, I swear to God, completely ignores her and comically slowly looks away. We're following 90s sitcom rules here. What a useless pile of shit. And whose androids are these? You can walk around, but Alice is such a brain-dead idiot. You swing the camera around and she's already lost. Like literally, she just evaporated. Then she's sitting at a bus stop across the street? What the hell was that? So you walk across the street, and what happens here is the most baffling thing I've ever seen. She goes to get Alice, and then this random android just shows out of actually nowhere and grabs Kara. Kara says they have nowhere to go, so the random android transfers some information to her, telling her where she can go. What a really convenient plot device to show up out of quite literally nowhere. Then this.
But that's on the other side of town. We need a place for tonight.
Where the fuck did he go? What the hell is going on here? What in God's name is happening? And that's it. That was literally it. I'm no college professor, but I got a feeling there's a writer somewhere who couldn't think of a way to fit Kara setting a waypoint into this mission and just wrote a magic android that just tells her for no reason. What is being insinuated? The android ran away while Kara was staring at him and she didn't notice? Kara is schizophrenic and just spoke to no one but knows some new information now? The android got hit by the garbage truck and didn't make any sound. I mean, really, what the hell was that? So, where to now? Well, how about this future 7-Eleven? This douchebag at the counter offers no sympathy to our metallic maiden, but he still could be of help. Kara sees the register and, like most rational people, decides that maybe it's about time to kill an innocent person for $50. Yeah, why not kill another guy before even leaving the city? As tempting as it is, I think we should scope the situation out. After walking around aimlessly for 4 minutes, I've decided the right thing to do would be to use Alice as a distraction while I steal. It's only right. So Alice knocks over a comically intended to be knocked over stack of cans, and the minimum wage cocksucker depressingly stands up to clean the mess Alice made while I walk away from it, leaving her to deal with it herself. Imagine if 9/11 happened in July and there was just a whole convenience store chain named after a terrorist attack. I just thought of that. Alice is just standing there. You would think neither of us have ever had an outside human interaction before. Like you knock over some cans and are staring at them on the floor and you're just like, what do I do now? Maybe pick them up, idiot? So Kara reaches over by the register and snags a really wet-looking Grant and unsuspiciously grabs Alice and runs out. That was the dumbest holdup I've ever seen. Maybe she could have grabbed a roll of nickels, too. So the guy heads back to the cash register and for no reason coincidentally notices that specifically a $50 bill is missing and runs out of the store, but of course, Kara and Alice's models had already unloaded from the scene by then. So now, exactly where the convenience store worker just stared at, Alice gets upset with Kara for lying to her, but like, what the fuck did she think was gonna happen? She's upset because she didn't know that I wanted her to knock the cans over so I could steal? What did you think was going to happen? Hey, knock over these cans right here and distract the cashier while I go out and make a living wage. Across the street are 2 options. We can break into this car and sleep there, or if we had some bolt cutters like the ones from the convenience store we already robbed, we could break past this fence and sleep in the abandoned house. There's still some more we can check out though. Here at the laundromat, Kara sees the opportunity to steal some guy's clothes to keep Alice warm. After that whole mishap with the 7-Eleven guy, it seems Alice is being a fucking massive loser because she really doesn't want Kara to steal again. Sadly, there's nothing else to do here, but there is a magazine on the table. This is probably the worst one yet. The front page is a story about bees. Like, who actually gives a shit? I'm not reading about future bees in a fictional game about gay robots. Then the next page makes up for it with this headline. My husband got an android pregnant. Yes, please. 10 ways to please my man. What better context than now to read this? Then you scroll down and the story's just about some musical douchebag. It's time to face the music. Like, I don't want to read about this idiot. I want to see some guy knock up an android. So the only thing left now is a motel across the street, but the sign out front says no dirty stinking clankers allowed. So now what? Well, after Alice was really proud of me for changing my mind on stealing, Kara goes right back to the laundromat to steal. This time, Alice keeps her dumb narc mouth shut. There's some really shitty textures in these machines. After some intense QuickTime events, Kara successfully steals clothes from a guy sleeping at a laundromat at 2 in the morning. I'll take the credit for the convenience store stealing, but if you fall asleep at a laundromat, you deserve anything that comes to you. Now we can go outside and be warm. You can't even tell that I'm a dirty android. Great thing this 20-something-year-old black guy just so happened to have the right clothes to fit both a robot woman and a 9-year-old. Now we walk into the motel and, didn't this guy see us staring at him like 5 minutes ago? Who cares? So now for the price of somehow $40, we get a motel room. Kara signs the paper as Archer for some reason. Then the guy asks to see our driver's license. Oh, great. Well, all I have with me here is my robo license stating that I'm a robot. How inconvenient. So Kara pulls one out of her ass and says she forgot it.
We were in a rush. I think I forgot it at home.
Yes, she was in a rush. We just couldn't wait to stay in this motel in the middle of some shithole. We were flying out the door. But the bozo believes it and gives us a room, as all great people with nothing to live for would have done. I tried abandoning Alice, but the game won't let me. Kara puts her gun down before settling in. What a fucking genius. Just rest the loaded firearm openly on the table in the room you're sharing with a child. It's floating. The bathroom's pretty big for a motel. So Kara undresses Alice and then creates a fire hazard. Shows some boob, heads back to Alice, and they have this heart-to-heart, and Alice just goes full cliche vent on Kara as if they've been having coherent discussions this whole time. The two barely speak, but now she gets all emotional. It's weird.
Will we be together forever?
Forever.
So Kara lies and says they'll be together forever and never to part, as if Alice won't be dead someday and turn into worm food. Kara tucks her in and I have no choice but to kiss her. I really don't want to give her the impression that I give a shit about her, but it seems I have been given no other option. So I can choose to sleep in my own bed or share a bed with Alice, but instead I've decided to rest in the cuck chair. I'm sure that 4:30 a.m. piss will be very relaxing when it starts with a robot staring at you in the dark. And that's it. Now obviously this could have gone a few different ways, since we could have broken into the house or slept in the car, but what I really want to know is if I could kill the 7-Eleven guy. What would that have been like? So as Kara reaches for the gun, she sends Alice outside, but the gun is literally in her back. She's just showing the gun to the cashier now. But Alice leaves and Kara offers to do this miserable fuck a favor. She demands money, but then some schmo walks in. Now, maybe I just think differently, but if I walk into a convenience store and a robot is pointing an obstructed object at a guy in charge of money holding his hands up in the air, call me crazy, but I'm turning around and exiting the building. But instead, in the span of under 3 seconds, the guy grabs a beer and a bag of chips and rings it up. This whole exchange is uncomfortable, but the most unrealistic thing you'll see here is this total of $4.95. On what planet does a bag of chips and a 6-pack in the year 2038 cost $4.95? During this exchange, I couldn't help but notice the security cam footage. In what corner of the store can I find the live horse jockey racing? What the fuck is up with that? So Buddy reaches in for a few bones when all of a sudden, bam! He has a gun now too. So now Kara tries to fish for some sympathy.
She's 9 years old, and this is the worst night of her life.
The worst night of her life? Why? Because you shot her father in front of her? So the guy coughs up the dough and Kara leaves. And this is the best. Alice, who wasn't watching I guess, wants to know what happened. So Kara lies and says the guy was nice enough to give them some money. And she believes it and gives Kara brownie points. What? So last time I didn't even lie, but Alice got pissed at me. This time I held an innocent man at gunpoint, lied to her, and now she likes me? What the fuck is the lesson here? You're always a winner if you threaten to take someone else's life for money. Thank you, David Corgi. Very inspiring. Our previous session with Markus resulted in him also killing a guy. But he himself died too, becoming another robo-notch on some air breather's holster. So now he's in some dump amidst a fitting downpour. Welcome to the dump. Not all androids go to heaven. You know, once again, maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like if you're gonna be disposing of sentient machines, maybe make sure they're dead. So Markus needs to search around for replacement parts, because if you have a pair of eyes, you'd be able to see that Markus is a falling apart mess. Thankfully, all it takes to walk again is jamming someone else's limbs on. Just that easy. They even click on like connects. So walking around, it's clear they're going for some kind of horror thing here, but the whole setting is just bizarre. I don't want to go into the science of why making a robo-dump a spooky, scary android graveyard comes off more funny than it does scary, but I'm gonna say the jump scare followed by the broken record shutdown effect, the wall of grabby dead hands, and the walking body without a head makes this all a bit hard to take seriously. But there is something important here. Before this android I know and care nothing about shuts down, he tells me of a place called Jericho, and that's it. So there you go. There's the goal. Moving on. Going around, there's some dilemmas Markus runs into. He needs a heart, so I have to choose whether or not to murder this bot to get one. And frankly, what the hell did you have to live for? I'm doing you a favor. Next up, this talking head has an ear that works, and I need it. And you may ask yourself, my god, what have I done? And you know what? Who cares? It's a dead robot head. Speaking of dead robots, this one wants me to put it out of its misery, which I will gladly do. All that's left is an audio processor. So you would think after seeing Markus pull someone's eyes out to get a new vision component and sticking his hand into another's chest to rip out their heart, maybe for the audio processor he's gonna rip some guy's ear off. But no, the android's just holding it in his hand directly in front of Markus. Did they not want to animate this? But Markus shoves it into his... Oh, there we go, yeah. This is much better. Now that I have ears, I can finally climb the mountain of dead people. Once at the top, Markus mentally prepares for the journey ahead by ripping off his blue ring. I guess it's literally just a meaningless aesthetic thing, but if it wasn't there, how would the devs signify this moment's significance? Things are looking up for Markus, but one problem. He doesn't look cool enough. Nobody wants to listen to a dirty clanker with ripped up jeans, so luckily for both of us and this game's writers, there's the world's sickest jacket ever conveniently placed on a pike 3 feet in front of Markus, and it fits him. Boy, if that wasn't there, I probably would have given up on this game. So that's it. Last time we saw Connor, he had accidentally coerced a Deviant into committing suicide. I'm just realizing now that the last time we saw all 3 protagonists, they had just killed someone. Anyway, this is where we get introduced to the most confusing plotline this game has to offer. Connor and Amanda. Who's Amanda? Literally, I don't know. Whether or not she exists is not something that is explicitly explained or hinted at. This, at this point in the game, seemingly is just a visualization of Connor's consciousness. They also happen to be some of the shittiest chapters in the game, but unfortunately they're very important to the story. Amanda wants nothing but Connor's unconditional cooperation. All she wants to hear is that Connor is doing everything he can to track down these deviants. If you make it obvious you don't want to see androids achieve freedom, she'll get all pissy. Every few missions you'll meet up with her so the game can make it clear which direction you're leaning in favor of. They aren't really fun, but like I said, they act as recaps of sort for the player. Thankfully, they typically only last a few minutes, and then we can move on to our next attempt at sleeping with men. So we find ourselves at the police station in search of Hank. Lucky for us, everyone here at the station sucks and is a complete asshole. Hank's got all this crap on his desk. After sitting still like a complete fucking idiot for no reason, we do some snooping around and learn that the lieutenant was once a highly revered officer, responsible for the arrests of some of the city's biggest drug ringleaders. We also learn some other stuff about him, like he still uses a standalone MP3 player like a hippie. Connor leaves him a message as if that means anything. Then we see a big conflict here. Wow, who could have guessed? Hank is racist against clankers. We don't bleed the same color. Color spelt with a U, even though this is Detroit, Michigan. I was fully immersed until I saw that. Even though it's a bit tacky sometimes, I appreciate the vandalism Hank does to his own property. Especially when the property is a real picture of a bunch of people obviously not all in the same room and instead just edited together to look like a group photo. Look at all these knuckleheads. You got real police, you got nice guy, you got an asshole. There's a lot to see, but heads up. Gross alcoholic is here. We follow Hank into the chief's office and watch him get reamed. There's a new Deviant case fresh to the books and Hank is being put in charge, but clearly, he's not too happy about it. Hank keeps alluding to some reason he shouldn't be in charge of the case, but the chief reminds him it's not his decision to make. Connor does a great job moderating the argument by standing still and not moving. So Hank accepts his fate and begrudgingly sits down to begin looking into the case, and Connor uses all the knickknacks and doodads he saw before Hank got there to try and make small talk and bond with our rotting ray of sunshine. The tension could be cut with a knife, but you can't convince me these two weren't born to get into each other's pants.
I was wondering, is there any reason in particular you despise me?
Yeah. There is one.
Oh, well, there you go. I wonder if that'll be a major plot point for the next 8 hours. So now we get to work. Look at all these cases. Some sound boring as shit, some sound highly interesting. Some sound rather familiar. There's a file on Markus and another one on Kara. We get filled in on the aftermath of our leaving. It seems one of Todd's greaseball friends found his body and told the Bobbies.
An AX-400 is reported to have murdered a man last night.
Oh, that was me. That was me. I did that. Hank and I decided to start our investigation, but not before I piss him off one last time. Connor just loves pissing him off. But it seems some new info on the murder I know everything about because I committed it has just come in, so why not check that out? Previously on Kara and Alice's bogus journey, we experienced the exciting thrill of sleeping in a motel. But now, things get real. What you're about to see is what the kids call a crossover between storylines in the game Detroit Become Human for the PlayStation 4. After a long night of watching a 9-year-old sleep, it's time to seize the new day. Kara draws a bath for Alice and cuts her hair while she waits for it to fill. Just like Markus, she rips out her blue ring to hide her identity as an android. While Alice takes a bath in the clean, very clean, historically not a dumpster for hooker corpses motel bathtub, I took to the digital magazine that mysteriously wasn't there the night before. Some crap about android zoos, which is kinda interesting, I guess. And then Canada. Canada is android free. We learn that androids aren't sold in Canada, nor do they have any legal status. This contradicts the US, who in 2028 voted in an Android Act that started all this bullshit. Wow, imagine that. Only 3 more years until this country gets even worse. Imagine living in a world with daily robot murders, and the most interesting thing the magazine has to tell you is about Canada. The Boston Marathon, I think, is on the television. I love that it's real footage with, like, no audio. Then the next channel is video game graphics with clear and loud dialogue. Like, which one do you think the game wants you to pay attention to? So it's worth noting that every act of violence lowers the public opinion of androids. The game is trying to let you know that if you're on the side of the androids, you'll have to keep it peaceful to mend public support. If we had spared Todd, his fat, greasy ass would have been on the news shit-talking Kara, but I gotta say, I don't regret killing someone who was so evil he wouldn't even share his crack with a robot. Todd can rot in hell with the guy who fucked up my order at Moe's yesterday. Alice explains she has no other family, so it seems our only choice is to try to find help at the address that possibly not real android gave us.
It's us against the world, Alice.
Kara reassures Alice that everything will be okay because no one likes them and the entire world is out to get them. While Alice cleans up, Kara goes to get some breakfast, but it seems trouble is brewing. Some lieutenant and his robot detective sidekick I've never seen before ever in the world drop by to ask the front desk some questions. After seeing Kara's picture, he realizes he was duped. The lesson here, of course, being that you should never help people in need because they might be robots with stolen children. Now we play as Connor. Wow, how crazy. After some making out, we head to Kara's room, only to find that she and Alice have both turned into tacky motel furniture. Then they use the secret back door no one playing knew about to conveniently escape on the only side of the building that isn't a public parking lot. As we make our way to the train station, we have to stealth our way past some of the most oblivious cops in all of Detroit. Not only does stealing an umbrella go under their radar, but so does opening it loudly behind their backs and rotating concurrently to their moving positions. You really have to suck to fuck this up. But if you're like me and are a rebel who don't play by no one's rules, you'll find a way. And if you do, you're treated to some exciting, intense gameplay. The cops notice Kara and Alice and do less than nothing to stop them, so Connor is now on the chase. This is where it gets interesting, because not only are you involved in a conflict, but you play on both sides of it. It's actually done extremely well. Amidst the chaos, you have to keep up with both Kara and Connor to make sure they don't get killed in traffic. All the while, you have to make up your mind on whether or not to let them get away. It takes advantage of the overwhelmed player to convey an extremely convincing sense of severity. If you can ignore what looks like Kara pushing a 9-year-old into traffic, this is one of the best chases of the entire game and by far one of the more interesting endings to a chapter. On the contrary, Markus finds himself standing at a train station dressed like a douche. Now there's a picture on his hand he's following. I guess that's the plot now. So we're looking around for some graffiti with this symbol that seems to be like a robot swastika, I guess. Whoa, would you look at that? Doesn't she look familiar? Wow, doesn't that sound familiar too? Look at that. Space moons or something. This feels very communisty. Markus rides an escalator. And then a guy bumps into him. Someone give these writers a raise. So there's more graffiti, and basically you just wander around the city looking for whatever picture is on your hand. Although Markus's hand is comprised of a noticeably low-resolution texture, that's not the most disappointing thing happening here. This city feels pretty dead. I mean, what the fuck happened here? The last Markus City mission had protesters, singers, people pretending to unlock cardboard boxes, and the best we see here are these asswipes playing catch at a gas station. I mean, what the hell is that? So you keep wandering and whatnot, and then you get introduced to Markus's big gameplay gimmick, which is doing parkour like a super epic cool guy. You need to look around to determine which path will get you to where you need to be. There's no way you can lose. You just kind of look around until you find the right motion. As dull and plain as this looks, I promise you it gets slightly less dull and uninteresting much later in the game. So look forward to episode 6 of this 3 years from now when Markus grabs onto a drone and falls. So now there's a dead android corpse on the ground. So there's that. You do the same shit again and bam, you're up here now. Here's another dead android. Are you having fun yet? When you need to make an environment more interesting but hate your job, remember, you can always just lean a dead robot on a pole and then clock out. Now there's like a Zelda puzzle, I guess? Okay, now we actually get to do something. So there's this bridge that leads to the ship and we get— Jesus Christ! Okay, so there's this ship and we gotta get to it. Long story short, and I'm not kidding, Markus climbs up to this girder, looks down, and decides that he's gonna make an epic movie jump into the water for no reason, as if that was the only way to get onto the ship. So now we're on the ship, and if you thought looking at your hand while crossing the street was fun, just wait till you try opening doors that lead to nothing. Then out of nowhere, a spooky, scary robot runs across the screen. Aw man, remember that? So you go around some more, and bam, Markus falls through the floor, smacks his waist onto a metal bar, and is greeted by the only thing scarier than death, a white guy. And that's it. Wow, what a chapter.
Welcome to Jericho.
Connor and Hank have a lot of work to do, and what better place to get work done than a burger stand where Hank makes illegal bets with a bookie in the rain. While Hank makes an illegal bet with his bookie in the rain, Connor does what Connor does best. Stare awkwardly and listen as Hank makes an illegal bet with his bookie in the rain. He apologizes to Hank for being an annoying piece of shit, and Hank laughs it off. Lucky for us, the guy in the truck has the big game on, so we don't have to worry about missing it. This has got to be the longest hockey game in the history of mankind. They've been playing for literal days. Try our new French fries. This burger truck just found out about French fries. So Hank eats a cheeseburger as all fat drunks do, and Connor tries making small talk. He asks about his illegal gambling like a total narc, and Hank could not care less. Then he patronizes him for his cholesterol intake. If Connor wants to make this happen, he's gotta stop being such a fucking square. Then he goes on about how androids don't feel emotions, they just get overwhelmed by instructions. They go back and forth, and it's nice to see Hank and Connor getting along. It's clear that Hank likes it when Connor talks like a real person and not some computer obsessed with work. After Connor shows off his Tourette's to Hank, he suggests they check out a new report of a deviant a few blocks away. So we wake up in an apartment building and knock on the door. After some loud scuttling, Hank and Connor break in only to find the place stricken with silence. After reading about how fucked we are instead of doing my job, Hank breaks into the pigeonry and prepares for action. Snooping around, it's clear a deviant has been living here. RA9 is scrawled all over the wall, blue blood in the furniture, and an LED in the sink. Connor discovers that the deviant fled after hearing our knock at the door. He ran into the pigeon room and then knocked some shit over. A few more clues and Connor realizes that the deviant is still here in the apartment. Since the deviant is a drug dealer, it's important to remember how cool doing drugs is, and so he should be given a fair shot at escaping. And thus, Connor kinda just does nothing at first while the android bolts out the door. So on a chase we go, and this sequence is all about picking paths. Do you want to take the risk or play it safe? Either way, you gotta deal with QuickTime events. We're running through the most random bullshit. There's a greenhouse, purple stuff, then a cornfield on a roof for some reason. Now we're on a train. Then we ran through roof trees. Now another greenhouse. I mean, what the fuck is going on here? Where the hell are all these roof gardens coming from? They keep showing up. Thank God they're all the same height. Now here's our big decision. After Hank kinda just appears out of nowhere, what's the move? He gets pushed by the deviant, so do we save him? Or do you go after the deviant? This is actually a major decision in the story and steers Hank's feelings for you for the rest of the game. Of course, how could I not extend my hand to the embodiment of a public urinal? Hank's grateful for Connor's help and they share a sweet little moment.
Hey, Connor. Nothing.
Oh, he so likes me. Wow, what a wacky collection of events you just watched and I talked over. Let's do this again in 2 months, maybe. I'm Bearman and I've been wasting your time. Thanks for watching.
So shut the fuck up and do what I say. Stop busting my fucking balls. Listen, I'm tired of you talking back to me.
Why did they make you look so goofy and give you that weird voice?